And we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, Code Noir episode
6?
6. Probably. If it's not 6, you won't hear this part. It's probably 6. It's probably 6, though.
Yeah, I think it's 6.
Look at that. We're just
Yeah,
flying through this.
yeah. Like
This is,
baby steps.
We're making it. You know what I'm saying? We're
Yeah.
getting a whole season's worth of content out there for everybody. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate the support and all that, the love on the reels and everything. I have to give you credit where credit is due. I was at work today and I was watching that TikTok about the AI robots in sports. I near pissed myself at the end of that clip. That clip was funny as shit. I can't even lie. But,
Thanks.
Yeah, nah, man. And I wants to shout out everybody that's been helping us because I haven't really been I'm gonna start putting that in the description and stuff. But to Mia and Pia, you know who you are. Thank you for the edits. Thank you for our background and everything. And then to my girlfriend Joy, thank you for our intro, outro stuff. You know what I'm saying? The music and everything. We appreciate all that you guys do. Thank you. I'll
Real
description maybe.
Yeah, we gotta have like a whole
credits and shit.
Credits.
Exactly. Roll the credits.
Because this whole it takes a village.
It takes a village. We got on the left, the right, we got everybody. So, just wanted to give a little shout out. But today, damn, that ginger ale came back up. Anyway, today we talking about Apple. Good old Apple. Love my friends here at Apple Technologies. I am an iPhone user, as is Chuka. Don't let it fool you. We ain't no Androids. Not that there's anything wrong with Androids.
Yeah.
Other than the obvious things wrong with Androids. But yeah, Apple. You know what I'm saying? Apple's I would be lying to you if I said I that company pisses me the fuck off. I can't even lie to you. But also don't mind you, I'm still gonna be buying iPhones for a minute now. I don't care. I can hate them. I'm still gonna put some money towards it. Maybe not in the more recent future because it's, as far as I'm concerned, after the 12, these at Apple just. I don't know what they did to the technology in the phones, but I feel like they're regressing. Because if you see this new iPhone, I don't know if it's this one or the one before this new one, they back to one camera. And I'm like,
yeah, I saw that.
I got 3 cameras and I'm at the 12. I'm almost 6 years old. And
yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And they back to one camera.
I think that's the SE. The one that they just released. I think it's back to one camera. The iPhone 16 SE.
And I'm just like,
yeah.
What are we doing here? Because then you go and turn to like Android, and and let's keep it a buck. The only reason people don't like Androids, or let me say not people in general, just Apple users that don't like Androids, they only don't like Androids because of green text. And sometimes the quality of like Snapchats and pictures and stuff, they don't talk to each other very kindly. It's like, it's very abrasive when you send a picture from a Samsung, even though the Samsung's phones 10 times better than an iPhone. Their cameras are better, the battery's better. Most of their charging ports are the same. They kept the charge the same. It's interchangeable. I've used my aunt's charger to charge like my PS4 controller, charge like random appliances. But iPhones, Apple loves to change their charger every 15 minutes. So the same charger I bought, Lightning cables are done. They're on USB-Cs now, and I'm just like,
yeah, because the thing, even with the chargers, basically they were kind of bullied into doing that almost. Because I believe they were facing a lot of lawsuits out in Europe. Because Europe takes that shit, like, very seriously as far as like, like consumer protection acts and stuff like that. So there was like a whole class action lawsuit that went on in Europe, just basically with how like Apple kind of forces you to buy their own stuff. Like just besides the phone, it's like you got to get their own charger or their docks or their all the different accessories. It's like if you have a Apple, if you have one Apple device, they kind of like just suck you into the whole ecosystem because it's not compatible with all the other like
Anything.
more universal or standard accessories or technologies and stuff.
And they have their own operating system. So like
right,
you have an iPhone and because most people have an iPhone but don't have like a Mac or like a MacBook. They have some kind of Windows processing because Macs are great for like content, visual editing, audio
right.
editing, things more like on the creative end. But on the business end, you're gonna get a Linux, depending on what the situation is. But most people are running on Windows for most business based like aspects. Like you're gonna have a Windows, and like I have a Windows computer PC, but I have an Apple iPhone. They don't like each other.
Same here.
They don't like each other, and they'll never like each other. Like you try and plug in your charger to charge here and like get some photos off your thing. Nope, you got to download iCloud. You got to download this. You got to download that. And even then, there's still that chance that it's like, you want a Windows? Nah, I don't with you. And then they just cut your off, and you're just like, okay, I can't use anything. Like, only reason I ever thought about getting a Mac is because like you want to like be able to have your devices talk to each other. That's the only reason that or an iPad, and I'm just like, but either way, terrible. Like I at this point it's like a Nike Adidas versus like a Reebok back in 2008. Like you come to school in Reeboks, you gonna get flamed. Or not even just then, like old what was that brand? Asics. Before they got popularized, you wore those shoes, you're getting bullied as hell. That's what it's like.
Right. It's crazy how like that trend, it just did a whole 360. Because now, like, I feel like the past like year or two, Asics kind of just became trendy, and then you got like a lot of like these other companies like like Balenciaga and the New Balance. They started making like those type of like Asics type like dad shoes.
Same with Champion. Champion was like a $20 brand at Walmart. You wear a Champion now, $60 is the cheapest thing they have, and you're just like, that's how I feel it is with iPhones and Androids. Because low key, the Google phone that just came out, it looks just like an iPhone. It looks like an iPhone and a Samsung had a baby. And like, cause I literally saw like one of my coworkers had that, and I was like, damn, I thought it was an iPhone. Then you look at the camera, like, oh wait, no, is that a Samsung? The whole time it's like, nah, it's a Google phone. I'm like, I didn't even know them make phones. So, but we were talking about, well, you was talking about it before this, Apple Intelligence. Once again, y'all thought we was done. AI 3. No, I'm just kidding. Apple Intelligence. Yeah, y'all thought it was done. Hey, it ain't done. But yeah, what about Apple Intelligence was really like sparked your interest in it? Because like I don't know anything about it. The only thing I know about Apple Intelligence is Siri, and that can't do for she be
I mean, time. Yeah, Siri is kind of like her own thing. I mean, like I guess Siri you could say is like one of the very first like iterations of like a sort of like AI assistant. But like the early versions of Siri was just pretty much more of like just basically like a smart model that could do like language processing and like voice control and stuff like that. So it wasn't so much of like a AI as we know it right now. It was just more of like how do I put it? It was just more of like a smaller kind of like a smarter feature on the phone that's like it had the voice control and
It
stuff
just
like
did
that. And
mundane tasks. It couldn't really
yeah,
think. It was just doing what it
nothing
was
too
told.
crazy. Yeah, it wasn't. There wasn't like really any reasoning to it and stuff until like recently. So because like with Apple Intelligence, this was something that they were hyping up um, for like the past year, really, for like most of like 2024 before they actually released it in January of 2025. So they released it and it was supposed to be like, this whole thing, Apple Intelligence, which is also AI, right? Like, so
Convenient.
that kind of had a ring to it. You know what I mean? So the whole idea was that, they had developed their own unique model and that it just had this very seamless integration with their own chips. Because after many many years, Apple finally started to make their own chips. So you have like the M1, the M2s on the MacBooks, and they're doing the same thing on the iPhones now. It's crazy how long it took them to sort of catch up in that department, but that's besides the point. So, but Apple Intelligence kind of flopped. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of flopped because they released it in January, and like in a couple weeks there was like a lot of like backlash as far as like some of the features were like very misleading. They had this smart feature on there that was kind of like if you were subscribed to certain like news
Mm.
channels and blogs and stuff, so on your lock screen, Apple Intelligence was supposed to give you like summaries of the news, right? Like if there
Mm.
was something that was happening, it would just give you like little bits of knowledge on what's going on in the news and stuff like that. So it's like you could kind of just scroll over it on your lock screen if you didn't necessarily want to like read the full article. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But it turned out that like a lot of it was false. So for example, like like how you had the whole Luigi situation, like with the insurance company and all that stuff and all that drama that was going on at that time, right? So one of the notifications that was popping up on people's phones was actually saying that the dude shot himself, but it was like that never happened. So it was like a lot of users like reported that, and Apple, that's like that one brand that never really makes a public statement about anything. You know what I mean? Apple has always
Yep.
been that sort of like bougie, exclusive kind of brand. They don't address nothing. They're not trying to clear up the air on anything. They just do their thing. It's like, oh, take it or leave it. We don't give a
Exactly. They don't give
They
a
actually statement, and they rolled back some of the features on Apple Intelligence. There was also like a lot of misleading stuff with like the weather. Um, in some countries and stuff, some of the smart features that was supposed to like predict the weather and stuff like that was false. Also, another thing that really flopped was the object removal in like photos and stuff. Cause like when you look at like Android, right? Like you have Google Gemini, um, because Google they make their own phones, right? But basically they control Android as an operating system.
Yep.
So a lot of Android phones have Gemini, which is Google's AI assistant or the AI model, basically. So with the object removal, right? Like Gemini has this cool thing where it's like, oh, like if I took a photo, like let's say for example, like you see like how I am right now in this frame, and I took a screenshot of this, so I could go right to where that jersey is, right, and I could just like circle it and
Yeah, and then
then
it'd look up like a
remove it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm
if
thinking
I
of something
wanted to
else.
remove, I would just circle that and then just remove it, and it would blend the background to match exactly what would be there if I removed that object.
Hmm.
So it's like a pretty cool feature. And Apple tried to replicate the same thing on Apple Intelligence, but like I saw a bunch of people like posting online about how the one from Apple didn't work. Like, like you would try to do it and it would fill that space with something weird that wasn't even there, or it would just be like really blur, like, and you could tell that something was removed, as
Yep.
opposed to the Gemini's version from Google, which was like really smart, and it would really like blend the background pretty good, and the image would look pretty crisp. So yeah, that's just kind of how it is. It just seems like with this whole AI race that's going on right now, everybody's trying to develop the most like innovative thing with AI. You know, the newest model, the smartest, fastest model. Apple seems to be behind right now in the race.
That
But
does not surprise me at all. That them as a company, they're like you were saying, they're the bougie. Like, we're not gonna sell to you. We know you are gonna come buy our 24/7. Like, we could sell you a hot sack of dog. You gonna come there with $1,000 in your hand and pay for that dumb ass. And they right. Cause like you were saying with the Gemini model, right? Half the time I'll be talking, I'll be like, "Are you serious?" Or I say, "Are you serious about something?" This dumb Siri's gonna start asking like, "What would you like to hear?" And I'm like that's just an obvious like coding error. Like when I want Siri, I say Siri, but it catches like the littlest things, and like this is a 12, so it's old, yeah. But just like like that in general, most of the capabilities on Androids are like leagues ahead. The chip they got in the Androids is leagues ahead of this one. Like the amount of things you can do with an Android over an iPhone, you can basically like, what's that word? Where you can cast an iPhone to TV, yeah, but you can basically like remote into your Windows computer off of your Android. I don't know if they have that on Macs to Apple. They probably do, but it's probably so primitive that it's mostly like you can take this picture and put it right on your Mac. Whereas you got an Android, you could basically do all you could do at work on your Android. Sure, it's a little smaller and there's some little like user interface things that you got to figure out, but like it's basically 1-to-1. Whereas Mac is like 1-to-3. Like you can do one of those 3 things that you're supposed to be able to do. So and as far as AI goes, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I been knew they was gonna be behind, cause they're behind on everything when it comes to things. But it's like, it's not about that. They know it's not about that. They know people are gonna buy whatever phone comes out.
Yeah, I don't know how they do that though. It's
right?
Like, yeah, really like what you said. I don't know. I think it's just something with like, I don't know. I feel like Steve Jobs just did such a good job with like setting that precedent.
Yep.
For the company, and like the just the direction and the design direction and the marketing ever since like Apple hit the streets, you know what I mean? So there's just that like, I feel like they keep living on that past glory, you know what I mean? It's almost like your favorite sports team or whatever. Like I don't know how much you watch soccer, right? But like me, for example, like I'm a Manchester United fan, right? Like I've been like a Manchester United fan since I was like 6 years old, right? Because this was like the team that my older brother used to support, and like a lot of my older cousins used to support. So I just loved the team, right? And they had like a cult hero of a coach back in the day. His name was Alex Ferguson, and he just built such a remarkable history for the team, right? Like so many trophies and stuff. Because that's basically the team where Ronaldo, like Cristiano Ronaldo, that's where he blew up and stuff. But like in the past like 10 years, right? They've been a whole flop. But they're still a huge team just because of like that history that's already been built. You get what I mean? So they're still trying to ride on that glory. And there's like a whole bunch of fans that keep hoping that like, oh, maybe one day Man U is gonna go back to the glory days. You know what I mean? Like it's just such a huge club around the world. So I feel like Apple's kind of like that.
They
like,
have been doing that forever. They've been living off that hype forever. Because remember, what was the first feature that was like? I don't know if Samsung had like a Siri before or whatever theirs was called. But I think Apple, I don't know if this is correct or not. Probably not, but from what I remember, Siri just like was accepted by the mass so much heavier than like the Google's, than like the Samsung or the Google's assistant. It was
I think Samsung had like something called Bixby.
Yeah,
but it flopped.
But
it
look,
didn't
like,
really
that
take
doesn't
off.
even sound like something you want to be saying. Like, it sounds like my mother's brickle brackle and fizzy wickets type. And I'm like, what the Barnaby. I don't want to. Barnaby, what time is it? Type. I'm not doing that, dumb man. So like when that first came out, I remember because I still had like Nokias and all these. I had a Pantech phone. Go ahead. I want y'all, every one of y'all listening right now, go ahead and look up Pantech. It's a flip phone that flips up like this. And some of them come and flip up like this. It was bad. I was in middle school with that shit. Damn near high school with that shit. My first
Bro, these
iPhone
kids don't know nothing about that shit.
I'm an unk now. God damn it. Anyway, that back then, what really caught my eye with iPhones was like Siri. Like you could talk to the bitch, she would get you what you need. Siri, what time is it? Or Siri, what's the weather like? And like all that just, it was just like, damn, okay. My phone, niggas was thinking it was like Star Trek one day, and that's what I think. I agree with your you saying like the hype is, people are just expecting Apple to finally like do something. Right. They want their company to do like the Star Trek, your phone coming out of your thing, you're talking like that.
Yeah.
All the
holographic technology.
The shit in like movies. It's like they're holding on to the same hope that this is gonna be the next year. Next year we're gonna get him. Next year. Yeah. Oh, it'll be the next year. Yeah. It'll be the next year, and then one of these days is gonna hit. Like I think the first like iPhone that like hit was like the 6, because that was the day, that was when they like I think Touch ID was the first time they started using stuff like that, and then the Touch ID hype went to Face ID. The Face ID hype went to all these different like biometric scanning things and all these other capabilities of the phone. So it lived off that hype. But now you've got Face ID, Touch ID, Siri's better, all these things, and it's like, okay, we've hit that. What's the next thing? It's like, no, now you got to build off what you have, and in reality, that hype died 4 or 5 years ago. So now they're basically at nothing, which is why I'm pretty sure they're like trying to put themselves into the AI race, because they know one of these years they're gonna get left behind. Yeah. And they know they have enough time, because it's so hard to switch from an iPhone to an Android or an Android to an iPhone. Like the task of switching your numbers, doing all these different things. They know that they have a good amount of time to fix whatever it is to keep their current like consumer base as high as it is, because you talk to anybody over the age of 50, just switching from their iPhone 16 to an iPhone like 18, you could have sworn it was Egyptian hieroglyphs what they're reading. In reality, you just plug your phone in, plug it into the other one, you switch your numbers over. Now imagine trying to teach dinosaurs how to change take an iPhone to an Android. I'll pray for you, because it's not gonna happen. Like just helping my mom send a text to somebody seems like 17th level fucking Harvard education. You need the highest level of knowledge to know this stuff. Swear you're performing witchcraft. And I'm like, no. And even honestly, even my age, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to switch all my contacts over, because half these things are connected to your Apple ID. And when your Apple ID has all your passwords, all my cards, and not even to talk about how much Apple is using like themselves as like other means of like Apple, the cash. You have you can have your Apple Wallet. You can hold concert tickets in your wallet. You can hold your medical stuff. You can hold all these different things in Apple's technology. You basically interweave your entire finances, your life, your hobbies, all these different things, health, all into your iPhone, your Apple ID. Taking all that out and going putting it somewhere else. Nobody got time for that.
Yeah, it's a whole ecosystem, and I think that's what like Apple got everybody in a chokehold basically, because they've created that like robust ecosystem. So it's like it's almost like a freaking what's it called? Like a black hole.
Yep.
And as soon as you get sucked into that black hole, it's like you cannot escape, because like your whole life already revolves around all that. And it's like for example, like same thing you said, like of how like everybody's like waiting on them to do something. Like we keep hoping that like, oh, the next time, you know, and like relates to that reference I made of like Manchester United, right, which is like my favorite soccer team. So like everybody's waiting, you know what I mean? And it's like with the whole AI stuff, right? Like every big tech company is trying to ride the AI wave because that's what the consumers are expecting. You know what I mean? Our brains are becoming wired to a point where we expect our technology to get smarter. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Like there's stuff that we expect to see. You know what I mean? If I go to a page on Instagram that has like products and stuff, I'm expecting that there's a link in the bio that's gonna take me to some kind of website or some kind of like e-commerce
Yep.
app or something like that. You know what I mean? Um, Honestly, even straight from the Instagram app, I'm already expecting that there's like probably a button that I can just click and it would take me to like your Instagram shops and I could just put a card on there, put it on the cart. You know what I mean?
Not even that. You got
Deliver
your,
that
your
shit.
touch ID on the side, double tap. You already paid for it. It's good to go.
Yep. So
Like,
we're all kind of like we're being wired to expect those things. You know what I mean? So and even like about like a couple weeks ago, Team Cook, who's the CEO of Apple, he came on Twitter and he tweeted something about like welcoming the newest member of our Apple family. Da 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 da. It was like some kind of big mysterious announcement, and that tweet had like so many likes, so many retweets, because everybody was like, "Oh, like okay, what's Apple's cooking? Like what they got going on? Like what are they about to release,
hmm.
bro?" Do you know what it was? A freaking iPad.
Like,
It was like, what? I was so disappointed, bro. Like I saw the tweet and I'm like, okay, yeah, I was thinking maybe it was some kind of re-up of the Apple Intelligence or some freaking kind of, I don't know, an EV. Because I know at one point Apple was talking about like trying to make an EV, but they ended up like just putting that whole project on the shelf
yep.
because it was a complete flop, right? I was thinking something, I don't know, freaking microwave or
Something
something
else.
new, you know. It just ended up being another iPad. Like there's literally nothing different on the iPad. It's just the new, I don't know, iOS 18 or whatever it's on right now, maybe iOS 18 point something.
Nobody gives
Not really. So it was like a huge disappointment. You know what I mean? And like
Yep.
Apple's one of the big dogs, you know, as far as like like market valuation, as far as like tech companies. You know, you're talking Apple, you're talking Nvidia, you're talking Microsoft, um,
Yep.
Amazon is in there, because I do consider Amazon to be a tech company. You know what I mean? Even
And,
though they're
and not
more
even just like, if we even move away from that, you got what? Apple Music now for music, for like content creation. You've got Apple TV subscriptions. They're starting to break into streaming and like that. Like, there's this new
Mhm.
show, Severance, on app. I just found out it was on Apple
Mm.
TV. It's a good show, linking them to
I heard it.
Apple.
I heard about it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard
and
it's good.
I heard it's really good. I actually want to like watch that, but like now I'm on the fence. Now I'm like, oh, now I gotta buy an Apple subscription, which makes you think, why don't you get all this stuff with it? You already bought the iPhone or the iPad. Why
Right.
is it not like, or at least at a discount? Because what makes me different
Right.
from the that bought a Samsung buying Apple TV? Because he not gonna buy it.
Exactly.
I already got the phone. Give me the Apple TV.
Exactly.
Give me at least a month or two free. I'll be like, okay, or Apple Music for a couple months for free. It's
Right. Yeah.
like
You,
I
you have an
already,
iPhone, you should get Apple Music.
for the free skis. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, they really got us by our balls. Cause I'm paying this 24/7 and I gotta pay for this. I gotta pay for this. It's like a Spirit Airlines flight. Yeah, I got the phone. No, you gotta pay for oxygen. You gotta pay for some water. Shit, you breathing? You gotta pay for that too. You gotta pay for this. You gotta pay for that. It's like, what's the point of me buying this if I gotta pay for all the functionality in it too? The only thing I get for free on this is Siri and my Apple ID. Everything else I gotta pay for. At least
Bro,
anything
freaking
affiliated.
iCloud, you gotta pay for
iCloud
that
space. I gotta pay
because
for
the amount
iCloud.
of space they give you
Is
at first is basically nothing in
they
2025.
spit at you. They
Like,
spit
bro,
at you. Cause
you gotta pay for iCloud, bro. They charge my like $2.99 every month. I'm
every
like,
time I see
there
that,
we go
I
again.
just look at it and I'm just like, you really got me up. You knew when you made the iCloud that that's what I'm just gonna store all my photos, videos, everything like that. And you know these things take space. you gonna give my iCloud 12 gigabytes worth of space? And it's like, hey, we gonna give you for $1, we'll give you $50 gigs more. Oh, you at the max for 50? Hey, $2.99. We get you some more. It's like they selling crack. It's like you get hooked on crack. They're just like, you want a little more? You want a little more? Come on now, you want a little more? And I'm just thinking to myself, they really got me messed up. Cause I'ma still pay that. Cause I got mad photos and videos on here, and I'm like, I'm not gonna lose that. And half the time, like now, you know that saying, little kids always be like, you got games on your phone? I used to, but you ain't got space for that no more. There ain't no space on your phone for nothing but text messages and the occasional photo. And we getting old now.
Now we gotta charge them little kids. You wanna play games on my phone, little? You gotta pay.
Give me $2.99 for the iCloud space, and you can have the phone for an hour. Like, what? Are we serious right now? Like, this crazy to me. Like,
bro,
you really sit back and think about like the way the economy is and the way we be spending our hard-earned money on some bullshit. And like the day the entire Apple consumer base really sits down and evaluates and gets over the stupid blue text, green text argument, Apple's going in the ground. Apple's going straight into the ground. Because in every shape, form, style, everything is better on the Samsung. I gotta say it. I'ma still keep buying iPhones, but I'll be damned if I text somebody and they text is green. And or I put a Samsung group into an iPhone group and all the text turn green, and now can't leave. So now you just blowing up my phone.
That's so messed up. And all that stuff really is Apple propaganda. It's Apple propaganda. Because basically what Apple does is that, like, so essentially, like, text messaging has its own protocol, which right now I believe it's called like rich text protocol. So every other text messaging that goes on every phone follows that protocol. But Apple basically is like, okay, we have our own different text messaging protocol. And as soon as any message comes in that's not from our own protocol, they program it to look that way. Yep. So it's really Apple that's doing it. It's not like that's how it's supposed to be. Because if you think about it, when you message someone on an Android phone, it doesn't show up a different color.
Nope.
It's still green on an Android phone. Like, they all look the same. But that's really just Apple propaganda. They're just like, oh, like, we're gonna like freaking it's almost like some segregation. Like, we're gonna segregate against these people, make their text, judge you by the color of your text.
I'm so glad that is quite literally what it is. Cause I'm not even gonna lie, I'm phone racist as hell. I'm on Team Blue Text. Cause I see a dirty green text, I look at him like, you're not from here.
Yeah, you look at her like, you slimy.
You ain't from here. Why?
You nasty little.
Go use the green text bathroom. Go ahead and get from the green text water fountain. I'm just like, but in reality, it's like, no, we all the same. We all in the same text from the same phone. iMessage is what that is. I forgot.
Yeah.
I was like, what's the name of their thing? It's iMessage. If you don't got iMessage,
yeah.
It cause like you text a Google phone with the Android phone, comes up the same thing. You text an Apple phone to a Google phone, it's the same thing on their side. But when they text back and it hits iMessage, it's like, you ain't from around this hood. No. Check you at the door. Put your shoes. Take your shoes off. And it's like, that in and of itself. Once companies like Samsung, Google, like all these big cellular companies figure out a way to bypass iMessage, or not even to bypass it, just to like tweak their code to be more like what's the? I'm gonna put it into like blood types. Like Apple's like text messaging software is like a AB negative blood type, like super rare. Like maybe 1 out of 10 people's gonna have that blood type, but every other person's like O positive universally. So if they can find a way to make their text messaging software universally accepted by everybody, Apple's out of business, like completely. Because that's one of the big things people are on. Because like even in this day and age, I don't really be texting that much, but I text here and there, and I associate green text with something I'm ignore. Like you get a green text, it's from like you got a ticket or something that you're waiting for, or you put UPS delivery
Yeah.
notifications, or you got notifications from Amazon or something, you ignore it, so you're not gonna like put anything on it. But like the day everything starts coming in as blue or gray or whatever universal color that they come up with,
Yeah.
I'm
Not
getting
it,
I'm getting a Galaxy the next
it,
day.
it's social engineering. That's
Yep.
really what it is. It's
Yep.
social engineering. Your brain starts to get wired because of these little cues that you have in your technology. And Apple, you know, hey, they cooked with that one. You get what I mean? Because that
Facts.
should really do work. They cooked with that one. So that's like a big hack that they did. And even to use your analogy of like the blood types, right? I would say that like in this scenario, Apple is like the AB negative, like you said. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't even know if there's anything that other mobile phone companies can do about it, because it's not even it's like Apple is the outlier.
Yep.
Every other phone basically is on the same kind of protocol, but Apple has their own protocol, which is the iMessage protocol. So it's kind of like when messages from other protocols come into their own server, then it's kind of like they check you at the door type shit, and then they give you a green color. So it's like that's like their own little thing that they got going on in their own bubble, where it's like, oh, like, you know, we identify, oh, they not like us, and
actually,
who's like us.
You know what I mean? You're right in that they can't really do anything because it's a specific niche. Like you can't switch your entire basis of your company's code to appeal to one. As big as they are still their own separate entity niche. You need to be available for everybody. They appeal to what's good for them, Apple being they, and then all the other companies appeal to the people that like deal with that. Because like I had a friend, he had a Samsung, he switched over to iPhone because his girl was talking about some I hate seeing green text. Like, this made a full 180 just because his girl said something. I was just thinking to myself, I'm like,
I'm not gonna lie,
you geniuses.
Yeah, me too. That's how I started using the iPhone. I'm not gonna lie, I used to be an Android guy. I had a Samsung. I had one of them cool Samsungs from back in the day. The first iPhone that I got was the iPhone 6, which was like a hand-me-down that I got from my brother, because at the time he had got like a new one that had just came out. But yeah, same, because like it's like that peer pressure. It's like, oh, like your text is green type stuff. So I think at the time my phone went bad, so that was like just the perfect opportunity. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna join the iPhone gang now. Like, oh, I'm certified in the hood.
It's literally social engineering mixed with like bullying. If I'm keeping it a buck, people will actively not invite you to things, not make you participate in certain things because they're like, damn, I don't want to start a group chat with this. He got green text. We gonna the whole thing. I'm never gonna get. And it's like, you really ruining like real relationships off technology. And I'm like, if anything, that's a testament to how important technology is in the everyday life. But
for real,
like, come on now, Apple. Just be universal. Like, make it easier for everyone. But no, they can't. Because the minute they make it available to everybody, suddenly that crack don't be hitting. That crack don't be hitting the same. It's cut with something. Ooh, it ain't the same you used to. It's like, then you're out of your.
That's really all they got right now. If they lose that, there's nothing more, because they're not innovating as fast or as big as a lot of all these other different companies. Like, I mean, like some of the big announcements that Apple makes, or Apple has been making in the past couple years, as you know, big announcements. A lot of them are really like features that have been on Android for like more than 10 years. But it's like we Apple users are just getting it, and we're like, whew, what a relief.
Because like how messed up is that? They came up with one or two good things that they rode that wave of hype for so long that now that they're out of their own personal ideas, their own personal innovations, they're looking at all these other companies that been had that and they're just gonna keep regurgitating it. It's like the whole thing with all these movies nowadays coming out. It's remake after remake after remake after remake. There's
live
no original
action.
and there's no original content. That's what Apple's turning into. The last 3 iPhones, the same goddamn phone. You could hand me a 14, you could hand me a 16. I couldn't tell you the difference.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't. And half the time, most of them just sucked. Like their batteries were overheating, the camera was bullshit, all these different things. Storage, you gotta pay for a new charger, all new capabilities, all these different things. And it's just like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm still gonna keep my iPhone, but I'm not gonna spend any more. And now, by the time that Apple catches up to Samsung, we're gonna be at like the iPhone 25. These Samsung are gonna have like, so you have a biometric phone now. You take a shot, it comes in your head like some Black Mirror like some Black Mirror. You hit that it's like, oh, you're accepting a phone call? Your eyes turn like foggy white. It's like, oh, hi, Mom. And I'm be like, hey, guess what we got, though? We got dark light on our phones.
Yeah.
Apple,
bro.
iPhone 25. What's up? And it's like, brother, my phone is in my phone is in my
real.
brain.
Yeah. Nah, because when you said this is like crack, I swear to God, it's like so accurate. Because really, like, Apple users be so stoked about a new color.
About regular
This iPhone comes in olive green. Our minds are like blown. Like, oh, let me get that. I will give you $1,000. Like, yeah.
And I know these Samsung is looking at us like, put a little pocket change in our little tin cup because we begging for that they done been had, and like, spare change,
Bro.
spare change. And I'm just like, damn, we really stupid. That's like, it's literally that
bro.
we're I'm part of it. Like, look,
Yeah, I am too.
I literally was like, I had been getting black iPhones my whole life. I saw a blue one, holy, $1,200 on the ground right there. I used my whole tax return. And I was like, give me that
too.
phone.
I got the green one.
See, this talking about olive green. And
I was like, give me that. Give me that.
And I'm just like thinking to myself, damn, they really. I'm sitting here now, 5-6 years later, and I'm like, wow, these. I'm really a dumbass. I got hyped over a color. It's the same phone I had a week ago,
bro.
But hey, that's good business for them. You know what I'm saying? We can't even blame them. We gonna keep buying that. Cause you could put 10 random people off the street. 9 of them don't have an iPhone. So
yeah.
The only people
but I
that
will
got.
say though. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I'm just saying, like, the only people that got Androids now are people that just feel like hating on iPhones. They're just like,
yeah,
you guys really don't understand. Like Androids are so much more better than iPhones. Like every possible capability. It's like nobody trying to hear that. No green text out of here. Like, what the That's literally the only people out here that got Androids, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, I don't care. I don't.
Oh,
It's bad crack, but I'ma still smoke it. Okay? I don't care. Don't care. Move on. I'm not changing my opinion. Like,
nah, for real. They really got us in this like we some crack addicts. I can't lie. But I will say though, there are some features that I like about iPhones. My favorite feature is the one where, like, when you get a one-time code and it like automatically pops up.
Yes, sir.
You just click it and it puts the one-time code on there, so you don't have to go back into your messages and stuff. Yeah, that is a good feature.
I appreciate
I
that.
love that feature.
That is a great feature. And another one that I also like is like, and this is once again grasping at straws here, but it's like they just added it, I'm pretty sure, just to iOS, not even like an iPhone specific thing, but like to the operating system, is now like, it's like automatic Shazam in Siri. You just give it like, hey Siri, and then you just put your phone up to whatever you're wanting to listen to, or like say you're at like a barbershop or something and they're playing some Heat and you put it up. That was one of the ones I liked, and I was like, I'm really thinking to myself, am I really hyped about this? This is Shazam. These just stole Shazam technology, and it's nothing new. But
yeah,
it's not. But you're right about that one-time code. That is like, I use that way more than I'm proud to admit, because I'll be damned. And the times that it don't work piss me the off.
Yo, for real.
Like, you know the text just got in. I felt it buzz. You know the in there. Give me the code. But that is probably one of their key features, and I'm like, I'll give you that. But once again, what are we really asking for? We grasping at straws.
Yeah.
Double tap the screen, open it up, and type the code in. And this is what we hyped it. And
yeah, like
it's green. Like, come on.
Yo, it's like we some homeless
Seriously.
just asking for like a quarter, like just
anything.
It's like we get a quarter, and it's like,
Please,
my whole day is made.
Can I have some
like,
more? And I'm just like,
I'm gonna go get me a gas station hot dog.
Like, we looking at these gourmet, and we happy we got a double cheeseburger from McDonald's. And I'm like, wow.
Yo. Oh my God.
That's
but
crazy.
yeah, they also there's a new feature in the calculator. Now it has a scientific calculator. So I've been using that on like my tests and stuff for some of my classes. So that one's kind of cool. Cool. I know we're still grasping at straws, but
Android had that like Galaxy 4. They had the scientific calendar, honestly, from the beginning. And you're on iPhone, what now? 15? 14? Yeah.
Oh,
you just got that? That's crazy.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It's bad.
It really is bad. It's bad. Apple, you got to do better.
And
you got to do better.
With our closing remarks here as we wrap this up, Apple, do better.
Do better.
We have been spending money on you our entire lives. Give us something so we don't look like some seriously. But with that being said, that's episode 6, y'all. Apple Intelligence. If you an iPhone user, you know what I'm saying, comment something in the chat if you're or in the description or the whatever comments. If you're an Android, tell us what we're missing out on. Tell us what you guys have. We want some of what you have. We want some of your crack type. Tell us what we're missing out on. Give us 3 reasons why we should switch to an Android. If you're an iPhone user, shut the hell up. We already know.
You ain't got
shit to say, because I ain't got shit to say. Ain't shit to say about shit. But
you got that new magenta crimson color.
Oh, Lord. We out here. Half the time spray painted on in some factory, and we hyped about that.
Bro. Oh, man.
But with that being said, we gonna wrap it up here. You know what I'm saying? Follow us all on the socials. Be posted after the. Any closing remarks, sir?
This video is definitely not sponsored by Apple. That's for sure.
Hell no. But if y'all did want to sponsor us, we'll bleep out all. We'll switch the words around. We'll put Samsung where Apple was. Apple where Samsung was. That's all we're saying. But with that being said, we out this month, y'all. Catch us in the next one. Tappy.
Peace.